What's up, everyone? It's 6:03. I mean 6:30, which means it's time for the Clone Zone. I got my threes and my zeros mixed up today. Oops.
Yeah.
No, we shifted things 27 minutes later because we wanted to accommodate our guests today. Please welcome Jason and Gabe from Blast Points.
Hey, everybody. Super honored to be here. Thank you for having us.
We're excited to have you. How are you doing?
We're doing good. We're doing good. Loving Bad Batch. Can't wait, you know. Like, yeah, it's a wild ride. One left. So yeah, I can't wait to talk about this.
Yeah, one left. But I actually wanted to ask both of you. First of all, we've never had you on the Clone Zone or anything, so I'd love to hear just what your thoughts are about the Bad Batch as a series. But I also want to hear about the fan event because you both went to the season 3 premiere thing that they had out in San Francisco, right?
Yeah, that was amazing. But yeah, before that, just Bad Batch has been great. I mean, I've been a huge fan of Star Wars animation, especially Clone Wars from the beginning. And when the Bad Batch came back in season 7, it was like, oh, cool. Finally, these episodes that, we had watched the animatics for on YouTube. And, it's like, wow, they're bringing that back. And then the fact that they turned that into the next series was, like, wait, really? This is who they're going to do? And then now three seasons in, it's like, man, that was the right choice. And it's just been such a great show.
Yeah, I don't think we ever thought when we saw those animatics that fast forward years from now, we'd be like getting misty eyed thinking about Crosshair and, like really upset. Like, where is Echo? Like, he hasn't been in like 4 episodes. Like, what is going on? Like, we're so emotionally attached to these characters. And we just love the show.
Yeah, we were kind of late to Star Wars animation, I think. I didn't watch Clone Wars when it was coming out. We did watch Rebels, but like, yeah, I had no idea that a show like this would come along and make me care so hard about the Bad Batch and the clones. Like, I watched Clone Wars and I was like, okay, fine, whatever. But this was like mind-blowing for me.
It's doing such a good job at so many things, not just wrapping up like the story of all the clones, but also talking about the rise of the Empire and how their oppression spreads. But also they took these characters that, in the Clone Wars, we were like, okay, they're kind of over the top and caricatures, and they made them fully fleshed out people that, we're so invested in and very worried about for next week.
Yeah. Well, and throwing Omega into the mix, like, really made it work, where you have these, like you said, very over the top, very cartoon characters in a way, and then putting them in with this wonderful little child, Omega, who's actually older than them, and all that fun that comes with all the clone stuff. So, yeah, it's been great.
What episodes did they show at the fan event?
So, yeah, that was awesome to, because we're nowhere near San Francisco, but we decided to make it work. Jason's in Michigan, I'm in Illinois. But we did it, and it was at Lucasfilm, and they showed was it the first 3? It was the same ones that they aired on the premiere, but getting to see them in the theater at Lucasfilm with Brad Rao and Jennifer Corbett there, and Michelle Ang and D. Bradley Baker, which is hard to say very quickly. Yeah, it was really cool.
Well, we're now at almost the end of the season. We're at the penultimate episode. What are your thoughts on Flash Strike? I keep wanting to call it Flashpoint. I even made it, like, I typed it into my review today. I was like, Flashpoint. It just rolls off the tongue. I'm like,
and then I saw that and I put it all over all of our social posts, thinking, yeah, Alex wouldn't mess that up.
I sure did.
Yeah, it's a real cliffhanger, right? Like, in every way, shape, or form. There's a lot of questions, and I feel like as the day went on, the big question has been, like, everyone's like, well, I'm sure we're going to talk about it. How long is next week going to be? Because everyone now is just like, well, what is going to happen next week? They set so we can talk about the Zillo Beast, right? And like, because the Zillo Beast came out right at the end. And when I was watching it, I was like, you got to be kidding, the Zillo Beast. But of course the Zillo Beast. But it's like, then, okay, what the heck is going to happen next week. This is getting crazy.
I was so relieved that they brought the Zillo Beast back. I've been wanting it.
One of my favorite lines of this episode is one of Omega's last lines where she just says, "I found something big." Yeah, she's gonna let the thing loose.
Well, it's like that was one of the high points. What was that, season 2, when the little Zillo Beast came back, and it was like, oh, they didn't forget about the Zillo Beast. It's still out there. And then now, coming all back for the finale here is pretty awesome.
It's so satisfying because we've known about the Zillo Beast for so long. Like, Palpatine was interested in it, so of course they eventually got their hands on it and brought it to Mount Tantus. But getting to see it, little glimpses of it, and then I assume it's just going to wreak havoc on Mount Tantus in the finale. And that's going to be so satisfying to see.
You can see Omega looking at it, recognizing it, but then she's kind of looking and scanning around the room. She sees the ray that is keeping it in its little pin, and she sees the stormtrooper controlling it. So I imagine she's going to find a way to shut it all down. She and the kids are going to shove all the stormtroopers into the Zillo Beast pit.
She's like her brother Alpha, and she's like, I want to ride that thing.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get on its back, and I want to ride it.
She's gonna one up Boba Fett for sure and ride the Zillo Beast off Tantus.
All right, if we're talking about Zillo Beast, I'm gonna break out my picture.
Yeah,
it's the Zillo Beast hanging out in a hot tub, getting ready. The series is getting hot, the show's getting hot, and Zillo Beast is in his hot tub. So.
He was in a little pool. All right. Well, I really should have shown mine first.
I want that as a tattoo.
That's an excellent Zillo Beast. First of all, way better than mine. I went with
yeah.
What I'm expecting next week, that it's gonna pop out of the mountain and eat everyone.
That's our
your Zillo Beast looks great.
Yeah, but I'd rather have him in a cake. That's
Omega's gonna put it in a cake and roll it out, and for Hemlock's birthday.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe you remembered.
Yeah, they got him another glove. Yeah. So I'll show mine. Well, mine is, I think, a really underrated, not appreciated enough character that got a lot to do in Flashpoint. The blood droid, the blood taker droid.
Ooh.
Which I gave him some hearts because I really love him. And I noticed that at some points he has like a hand, and then it changes to a needle hand. Because I spent a lot of time studying him to draw him. So
that's good.
That's cool.
That hand to needle transition is like really cool.
It is.
I think they call it a nanny droid in the credits, which is like
It's polite of the droid to change hands like that, because it could just be walking around with needle hands. Like, watch out, watch out.
Yeah.
I do one thing. But it's nice that we got to see it just serving some actual medical function. Like, I'm not just about taking your blood. I can also scan you for health.
Yeah. I appreciated that too. Yeah, I thought that was neat.
Yeah. Well, I'll go ahead and show mine. Mine is kind of from towards the beginning of the episode, but one of my new favorite screams of all time in Star Wars has to be Rampart.
Yeah.
Falling out of the ship and Hunter catching him.
That is wonderful.
That Rampart beard is perfect.
Like the expression, he looks panicked in the eyes. I really like it.
Yeah. He's a little bit worried.
Yeah.
But like, it was so great because it was kind of like a two-part scream. He let out a short one when his cable broke, and then another one when he like was caught. It was.
I think there was one when Hunter yanks him out of the ship too. It's like scream, and then his cable's caught, and then he screams about that, and then when Hunter shoots it, he screams again. All three of those screams, it sounds like they just dropped Nashir Dalal out of a helicopter or something. Like, that is acting. That sounded real.
Yeah. I'm so glad they're just having Rampart. I mean, we don't know where it's going to go next week, and that's an interesting thing. But like, he's been so much more openly kind of comedic in the past few episodes. Like, what was it last week when he came out of the woods and he's like, "I can hear you," and all that stuff. It's so
that was this week, I think. I think that
was that this week.
Yeah, that was this week. Yeah,
he did. Well, he did it last week too.
He did it two different times, because the first time he was like, "Hello, I can hear you," off screen, and this one he was like, "I hear you."
I think Echo was like, "Can we trust that slime ball or something?" He's like, "I heard that."
Yeah.
And
so
this time, like, did Rampart survive? Unfortunately, it's like,
I'm
like, right here.
He comes like barreling out of the bushes, like, "Yes, I'm still here."
Adding him to the team was such a good decision. Like, I'm very worried about where it's going to go, but his dynamic with all of them is so much fun.
Yeah, he was such a fun over the top villain, and now he gets to be a over the top frenemy for a little bit.
Frenemy.
Yeah, maybe he'll get to ride the Zillow Beast. I don't know. We'll see.
I liked his lines with Crosshair though, because he was kind of like, kind of whispering into Crosshair's ear, almost like, "You're like me, you know, you only care about yourself." So I think we're definitely going to see him prove Rampart wrong somehow in the finale.
I like that Rampart is basically, yeah, I'm a jerk. I'm very selfish, and you're like me. But I wonder, yeah, Molly, I think that Crosshair definitely will probably do something to help Rampart, because we have that moment where he's just like, "Where is Rampart?" So I think he'll help him. But as Crosshair is like, "I've changed," and he walks away, and Rampart gives that like, "Sure you have, buddy" line. I wonder where they're going with that. If Rampart could have a change of heart, if he sees that someone like Crosshair could change, maybe he could decide not to be such a jerk. Or maybe he won't get a redemption arc. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, well, it's hard to say, because it is almost like, you know, he can't be too fond of the Empire anymore, because he didn't really do anything wrong and they kind of threw him under the bus. But he is kind of a jerk, so, you know, maybe that won't change. But I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it's the whole thing where it's where is Crosshair ready to save people besides the Batch and Omega? And yeah, like you said, Gabe, is Goofball Rampart gonna, like, you know, realize that, hey, these guys were trying to help me? Is he gonna have a change of heart? I don't really see it. I think he's a jerk through and through. But he was captured by stormtroopers. So is he gonna, because even when he was walking around the station above Coruscant, he was like, "Oh, it's good to be back home," or "This is what I miss," or something. And he was all happy to put his uniform back on. So it's like he doesn't really miss his Empire life. So he might kind of take this as like, "Hey, this is my chance to get something back." But we only have one episode to go, so I don't know.
I wonder if, kind of the same way Omega refused to leave without Crosshair the first time, maybe Crosshair will feel some loyalty to Rampart because they got him into this mess, and so he might come back to help Rampart escape. I'd just be curious to see where he goes from there, if he would ever change or not.
I want to bring this up just because it's relevant. Thanks for the super chat, Josh Mansfield. So Rampart kills Hemlock or Switch? Who dies / lives?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just excited to see those two interact. I really hope we get to get a good scene with them, because I can't imagine them liking each other, whether they were, you know, both in the Empire or not. So, oh man.
Yeah, it'd be fun to get an interaction between the two of them and have Hemlock or have Rampart maybe realize, like, "Wow, you are messed up."
I almost forgot. Thank goodness this reminded me. Someone on Twitter I saw did their own sketch, and I asked for permission to show it because this is exactly what I want to see next episode. At Jamie D1138 on Twitter. Sure, this and it's exactly what I've been saying that I hope happens. I want Hemlock to be eaten by the Zillow Beast. So if Rampart has a hand in that, if Rampart pushes Hemlock into the Zillow Beast cage, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, that would be something, wouldn't it? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Hemlock or
A
Rampart.
leaked storyboard.
Oh,
Uh-oh. Spoilers.
I just wonder how Hemlock would feel if Rampart even got like close to him enough to talk. Because I feel like Hemlock is very protective of Tantus and their secret work they have there. And he might even be like, who are you? Like, you're disgraced from the Empire. You are a disgrace. Get out of, like, could Rampart even get close enough to him? I don't know.
I don't think he's making it out of that jungle.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
I think the stormtroopers are going to take him, but from there, I don't know. Like, there's too much interesting stuff surrounding him for him to die in the jungle, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
But I could see Hemlock. I think Hemlock killing him is more likely than vice versa.
Well, and there's a really good chance somebody's going to get eaten by something.
Yeah. I hope Omega and the kids, when they let the Zillo Beast out, let it loose, whatever. There were like hints in season 2 of the Clone Wars when we first met it. It kind of recognized Palpatine and knew who the bad guy was. So if they all set it loose, I could see it like crawling out, give the kids a thumbs up, and just keep going. Like, not literally, but just be like, okay, I know you're cool, and I'll help you out.
Yeah. It's like good Godzilla, you know? Like, no, I'm just going to destroy the bad parts. You nice people, I'll leave you alone.
Yeah.
Well, since we're talking about Omega and the Zillo Beast, this is not directly related to the episode, but what do we think's going on with Batcher?
Where is she?
Yeah.
I think I was thinking about this, and it kind of reminds me of Game of Thrones and Ghost, Jon Snow's wolf, that he went down south, he left Ghost, and then he wound up coming back, and they were reunited. I hope we get another scene at the end where the Batch get to hug and pet Batcher again. Or maybe they'll bring her along when, fingers crossed, Rex and Gregor and the other clones show up.
Well,
they did stop and picked her up.
It's bad enough that Crosshair and Omega are back there after escaping one time. So I think Batcher's gonna stay far away from that fight, and yeah, we'll have to see her again for the big finale. Just safe out there, hanging out with Gonki on Pabu, just having a great time.
Do we know, is Gonki okay? I think Gonki was in the ship that exploded.
No, Wrecker saved her. Or him.
Yeah.
Are we sure? Okay.
Yeah,
good.
Wrecker,
I wasn't sure.
Wrecker picked Gonki up and dove into the water before.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I was so
sure.
relieved about that.
No, we were worried too. We're like, what happened to Gonki?
Batcher's taking care of Gonki's PTSD from that.
Okay, good.
Therapy dog.
But Alex, you saying that too with like Rex and the squad just remind me that next week is called the Cavalry. Cavalry has arrived, right? So, yeah, right. Like I wonder, who is going to be in the cavalry? I don't, that's the thing. Like as this episode, like it just asks a lot of questions, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think it would be strange if we didn't see Rex and Gregor and Hauser and maybe Wolf. But they've been fighting so hard to get to Tantus and rescue all the clones. I think they'll probably be a part of the fight. My current theory is that Echo, while he was on the science vessel, kept looking at like a string of letters and numbers, and he kept plugging into it. I'm hoping those are coordinates or something that he's able to send to the rest of the clones so they can show up.
Yeah, they're going to need help if they're planning on rescuing all the clones on Mount Tantus.
Yeah, they don't even have a ship.
How many there are to rescue. Although it would be cute if Batcher were part of the cavalry and she was with them and she kind of helped save the rest of her species that were there with the collars and stuff. And they all come back to Pabu.
It'd be like the turtle people in Ahsoka. They're just riding along in the battle.
Yeah.
Because I think of like if they arrive on ships, you think of how fast Hemlock's ships came in this episode. If Rex and a squad of ships come, they're going to be sending people out super fast against them. So Yeah, they got to have.
Hopefully, they'll have a distraction already happening, like the Zillo Beast, and they won't have time to like set the laser cannons off and send the ships out.
I did really like that before they even got to Tantus, Scorch was like, hey, the people at the Imperial base saw Clone Force 99 and Rampart. Like, they got in and out, which is all they needed to do, but they were noticed. And it makes, that's like the most competent the Empire has been in an animated series ever.
Yeah,
they're like, they're definitely coming, and we're a little bit ahead of them.
Yeah, like their armor was painted different, but I'm pretty sure that was them.
Like that one Imperial was like, yeah, some big clone punched me. Like, oh, okay, yeah, that's
well. And with the Zillo Beast, the other thing going on is the little team up between Echo and Emery too, which is super cool and exciting.
Yeah. I got chills in that last scene of them talking, because I feel like the two of them make the most sense to me. Like there's something very poetic about the two of them teaming up to help these kids after everything Echo's been through and after everything she's been through. So I'm really excited to see what they get to do.
Well,
I love that scene. Yeah,
I was just saying it's just great with the show too, that all these people, all these characters that are coming together because of interacting with Omega, and just like whether she has the Force or not, her power is like bringing the best out of people and bringing people together. So it was just a cool way to end the episode.
That's when she was taken, that might be my favorite moment of the series. Just all of that, facing her very worst fears. I immediately was taken back to season 1 when she was taken back to that Kaminoan colony and she was rescued. And she said, like, I'd never want to become an experiment in a tube. Like, that was the thing she was most afraid of. And Hunter was like, I promise that won't ever happen. But to save Pabu, she knew that's exactly what she would be if she went back to Tantus. But she gave herself up and like centered herself and did the Gunji breathing. I'm like, she might as well be a Jedi. I don't think she has the Force, but I don't care. Like, that's Jedi behavior. And I love her. And now watching her with all these kids is the best.
She's got her own little batch.
Tiny little batch. Bad Batch
like,
babies.
She's like, cover me. And they're like, what?
Yeah.
And she's like, I'll figure it out.
Yeah, she's like, we're going to escape and there's a giant monster out there. Follow me. Let's go. Yeah.
I think I liked it. I'll try to figure out who tweeted it. But someone was like, when you're doing your distraction, you're all children. You have the easy way out. Just be like, Miss Scalder, I pooped my pants. Like, I also pooped my pants. Just like, there's your distraction.
That whole scene was so good. The tension and the claustrophobia of Omega in the hallway with the blood thing going by her and stuff. Just like, oh yeah. My God.
Yeah, I was terrified she was going to get her fingers pinched. That whole scene. That's like every time those things would go by, it was just like, oh no, her fingers.
The first one genuinely scared me. It was like a jump scare.
Yeah.
And it took me a while too. I was like, what's going past her? Until I figured, oh yeah, that's like the samples and stuff.
Yeah, there's like a whole network of those little guys.
Which I guess that they're taking blood from the clones as well. But I mean, there were a lot of those boxes flying around.
Yeah.
Maybe they had to go to multiple stops. I don't know. It's like it's like those old bank things that you put a check in and it goes gets sucked up.
Yeah.
But this is a blood bank.
Blood bank.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there you go. There you go.
Gross. I'm just glad that the baby is still okay. Like, still in good spirits. No idea really what's going on. Doesn't even is not really even bothered by getting its little hand stabbed every day. But when the laser cannons start going off and the blocks fall and he smashes them, he's like, yeah, what are we doing? Are we making loud noises? Let's go.
He's ready to fight.
Yeah. The baby's going to be riding the Zillo Beast next week.
My like pie in the sky hope now, because Matt from HoloNet Marauders suggested it, was that Omega runs around Tantus holding Baron out, and Baron is using the Force to just like push TK troopers, and she's just like pointing him at people. There's no way that can happen, but I want it to happen so bad.
I would be down with it. I would be totally fine.
Yeah, we were saying that he could be like Jack and just like causing chaos, and Omega's just pointing him in different directions.
Trying to get a cookie. Yeah.
Do we think any of the kids will wind up using the Force in the finale?
I think that'd be cool. I think it would be a cool thing. I could see it happening, honestly.
Yeah, especially now that we know Omega has learned a little bit about the Force from various people, you know, Gungi and Ventress. Like, she could help them tap into that if they really needed to use it for something, and that would be a nice moment.
Yeah. I was surprised when the boy, I can't remember the boy's name, when he tried to escape. I thought for sure he was going to use the Force.
Yeah. The little green guy.
Yeah,
his name too.
Jax.
Jax, yeah.
Jax, yeah.
I was also thinking maybe one of them would have used the Force by now, but they got Scorch coming in there just taking him down.
I don't know if they know why they're there or if they can use the Force. They have a high M count, but it's like no one ever nurtured that in them, so I don't even know how much they're aware.
Well, the baby can throw fruit. We know that. Right. So there's at least that power.
He's the only one we've actually seen use the Force. But yeah, wouldn't it have been wild if Scalder came in and they were all just mind tricking her? You're like, you haven't done my test yet. Just keep her in that cell over and over and over.
That would be crazy.
Make our buddy the droid malfunction or something. Yeah, that would be cool.
Oh, make it turn around and take Dr. Scalder's blood.
Yeah. What?
That would be kind of dark.
Yeah.
All of the blood.
I wonder too. Last week there was the mustache guy working on Tantus, and we didn't see him this week. So I'm wondering, where's Mustache Guy? Is he going to play a role in the finale? Probably not, but maybe.
They have made a lot of distinct doctors. There was the new one today. There's Mustache Man. We have Scalder. So I don't know if that's just Lucasfilm Animation flexing their muscles now from back in the Star Wars Rebels day, where every Imperial officer was just like that dude with the cap pulled down over his eyes.
We have seen a lot more just facial hair in general in the last half of the season, and it's been really fun to see.
Yeah,
it has. It keeps you on your toes.
We have a library of beards and mustaches now. We're unstoppable.
Yeah.
But I could see like all of those doctors coming in to be a problem, especially Scalder. They've set her up to be pretty villainous in the past 2 episodes. I feel like Emery will get to have a one-on-one with her, take her down.
Yeah, she's going to be up to something nasty.
Yeah, yeah, she's going to be fighting until the end, probably.
Just that poor, now I can't remember her name, but the Pantoran girl, who was just like, I'm hungry, and she's like, tough.
Yeah,
it'll pass.
It'll pass, right? Cold-blooded.
Something, anything, a cracker, anything.
Oh. I'm gonna bring this up from Calm Like a Bomb. Thanks for being a member of the 603rd. What's the #1 thing you want to see in the finale?
Gosh, that's
tough.
It's such a basic question, but such a good question.
I mean, Omega needs to be okay. I think that's a pretty easy one. Nothing can happen to Omega.
Yeah. I was saying in our Q&A last week that I kind of hope that no more of the Bad Batch dies. Like, Tech's death just devastated everybody. And there's been a lot of talk of whether or not Crosshair is going to have this big moment to sacrifice himself to save the rest of them or to save Omega. And they've done so much work with Crosshair this season to make us love him. And it's nice to see him kind of work his way through his issues and gain people's respect back, gain their, confidence back. I don't want to see him die. I don't want to see any of like the main cast except for Hemlock can die. But that's my hope, that I want to see no more big tragic deaths. I don't think my heart can take it.
Now that we have seen the Zillow Beast, and I think that's a pretty safe bet that it'll be returning next week, that would have been my answer. But Molly, you kind of took mine too. I think the thing I don't want to see is specifically Crosshair dying, because we've been so well trained in Star Wars to be like, redemption comes with death. And I don't want that to happen again. But since you kind of took that, I'll say Rex and Hauser and all the other clones. I want a big old cavalry.
Yeah.
I agree with everything everyone has said. But I would like to see Mount Tantus destroyed. I would like to see kind of their whole project kind of thrown into chaos over there. I think that would be really neat.
Burn it to the ground.
I think
exactly.
I think that feels likely since we know Project Necromancer does not succeed. It's still one of my, I think it's such a smart way to tie into the sequel trilogy, to have these clones who were used and abused by the Empire rise up and ruin Palpatine's ultimate plan and basically save the galaxy, even though they won't know it. Like that's awesome.
And Hemlock
Really
is
cool.
the kind of guy who is like so proud of his work and has put so much effort into it, that if he saw that Mount Tantus was going to just crumble, he'd go down with it. If he doesn't get eaten by the Zillow Beast or killed by any of the main characters, he will go down with his ship.
I just had an image from Pirates of the Caribbean, like the bad guy from the East India Trading Company. His ship's getting blown apart, and there's just a slow-mo shot of him walking down the stairs. We'll do that, but he's walking downstairs and straight into the Zillow Beast's mouth. We can do both.
Yeah.
It would be a cool parallel too with Camino getting destroyed at the end of season 1. Kind of like, hey, you blew up the Kaminoans' home and all the clones. We're going to destroy your evil incarnation of it over there.
Well, that's where I'm hoping we get, some redemption and maybe a hero moment for Nala Se, because Nala Se is still out there, and her and Omega still have a relationship they really didn't get into too much. So, I want to see more of Nala Se.
I think if any character is going to sacrifice themselves in a big, poignant way, it could be Nala Se.
I think it would be good to see that, to get like her redemption through sacrifice would work for me, since she was part of the inhibitor chip and everything. So I'm still angry at her about what happened to Fives. But yeah, to see her save Omega would be good. Also, it would be kind of fitting if she were the one to kill Rampart because of what he did to Camino.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Justice for Nala Se. Hashtag.
She gives him a big old headbutt.
I don't know if she could move that fast.
Yeah.
She'll just talk him to death.
Her story is so sad because, Camino is destroyed. We don't know if there are even Kaminoans anywhere else in the galaxy. I'm sure there are, but like her life's work, her home, it's all gone. She's been in prison for a long time. Like, I don't know that she's going to be trying to get out of there on a ship.
Yeah. Where does she have to go? Yeah, it's a good point.
Sad.
We've also got Lama Su, who I thought died in season 1, and they brought him back for season 2, and we haven't seen him at all. Probably in prison on Coruscant.
Yeah, and then I think the other Kaminoan senator's still out there too, right? So there's at least 3 of them.
Yeah,
but
I forgot about her. Huh?
Nala Se would be like, I'm not brave enough for politics. I'm going down with this thing.
There's so many this series we've been talking about, just the second it's done, binging back through it, because I think it'll be really fun to pick apart character arcs and stuff, especially with Crosshair, but now including Rampart and the Kaminoans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've thought about that a lot, how well done, just how well planned everything was. And just kind of the benefit of 3 seasons. This is the story we want to tell. It had a beginning, middle, and an end, and sticking with it. I really like that.
There's also a chance we could get... I really like the little time jump epilogue at the end of Rebels. I wouldn't mind something like that here, although there is the thought of like, well, they had to change a lot of future stuff from that Rebels epilogue, so they might not want to add too much to an epilogue that they would potentially have to overwrite later. But still, a time jump to see the surviving characters happy and like doing what they love would be really nice.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's kind of sounds like they know what's coming next with all the Asajj Ventress stuff. I don't know if that story is going to be animated or what, but the way they promised it would be told in future content makes me think like they might know what is coming immediately after Bad Batch, so they might have an epilogue that builds into that.
Yeah, if we've learned anything over the years, is that these characters, if we don't see what happens to them in the show, they're still out there, and they'll be back before we know it, in some form or another.
We've been getting questions since the Bad Batch started of like, where are we going to see live action Omega pop up, and which show is she going to show up in? And it's like, I don't know. I mean, once this is over, she could go anywhere. As long as she doesn't die. She can't die.
Yeah.
She'll never die.
It's not happening. She's got to meet Boba Fett at some point. I want that to happen.
I do too. I know we did an episode in the beginning of the season, and we were asking questions, kind of like what were people hoping to see, and we were surprised the amount of people saying, but just Boba Fett, just a young Boba. And I was convinced he was going to show up with Cad Bane. I'm like, oh, it makes sense. Like, this is when Cad Bane is training Boba. It's not necessary to the plot, but I'm just, it is like, for some reason, we all want to see Omega and Alpha back together.
Yeah, I mean, it's like this story of clone kind, not just the Bad Batch. And so it's kind of strange that it's like all clones, but not you.
Yeah.
Well, he kind of had a history of like not really caring about the clones. And I feel like as a teenager, he might just be like, I don't want any part of that.
Totally.
I could see that. I mean, he'd be staring at his own face / his father's face. Like, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. But now with the Book of Boba, with like happy, friendly old man Boba, like if he hasn't met Omega yet, that Boba definitely would care about having a sister.
Yeah.
That's true.
That would be cute to see.
I was going to jump back to what you said, Jason, about Tantus being destroyed. How would you feel jumping like way ahead to Ahsoka season 2 or maybe beyond? Do you think Tantus might play a role in the New Republic story? Or is this it just because of its connection to the Thrawn trilogy from Legends?
I would not be surprised to see it mentioned at all. I mean, already the Project Necromancer was being talked about in Mandalorian. So, and like whatever happened to Dr. Pershing? Like, what is going on with all that? Like, what are the whatever happened on Tantus is whatever threads is still going on in the time of the New Republic. I think it would be a cool mention if like you said, Ahsoka season 2 or something. If someone is like, the work done and the remains of Mount Tantus or something, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, who would have ever thought we'd get half the stuff that we've gotten in the past couple of years?
It would be funny if Thrawn was like, we should go to Mount Tantus, and someone's like, oh, we can't. There's a Zilla Beast there.
Right.
It's like, a what?
It's just going to be like the Death Star. They blew up the first one, so they made a second one.
Yeah.
They blew up Mount Tantus. We can make another one.
There
Fine.
are other mountains.
Yeah, there's like a base right behind Mount Tantus that we don't really know what's going on there, but
I like to think that's where all the scientists live. That's like their
Yeah.
apartment building. Yeah.
yeah, they're living quarters.
They got to hike down and back up every day.
Yeah.
No, they got to like walk the tightrope across.
Yeah, I wonder, like, I would like Brendel Hux, like, or someone before him, if someone was like studying the work that was done on Tantus or something. That could be really cool.
Do you think we'll see Palpatine again? Like, is he going to find out about a big ruckus on Tantus and be like, "Gosh darn it"?
That's so Palpatine.
It's like, I'm hoping we see some Palpatines in tanks or something. Maybe some. We
Yeah.
get to see everybody else in a tank. We haven't seen Palpatine yet.
I think we're going to see more of that room. I think that's something that'll happen in the finale. That's what we need to start a list of just finale stuff. And going back to that Sith room, seeing whatever is in the tank.
Finale bingo?
Yeah. Yeah.
Place your bets. Yeah.
I don't know if I can think of 25 things, but
Oh, I can.
Yeah.
Rampart and Crosshair kiss.
Yes.
That's the free space.
It could happen.
Yes.
The CX clones, we haven't seen them
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Yeah.
Oh.
What's going on?
a couple episodes, but we saw a hint from Hemlock that there might be like an updated version. So I expect we're going to see a scarier version of the CX Trooper.
There is so much stuff that can happen in this next episode. It's kind of mind-boggling that there's only one episode. Like,
I know.
there's so much. Even if you're not even like, bringing in things that were only tangentially in the show, like just the core story from the show, there's so much to resolve. So
It's like, I know a lot of people are going to be pissed if it's another regular time episode, like 22, 23 minutes. I won't be super pissed, but I'm really crossing my fingers for a long episode.
I will be surprised. And yeah, I think disappointed if it's just a 22-minute episode, 24-minute. But it seems like there's plenty of stuff that would fit into a bookended. It started with like an hour-long episode. It can end with an hour or even like 40, 45 minutes. I think they can do that.
That'd be like a double episode.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But between... Go ahead, Jason.
I was gonna say, I feel like this conversation happens with every Star Wars TV show finale.
Yeah.
We're
How
always
are
like,
they going to do it?
yeah,
the next one is going to be 2 hours, and then we wake up and turn on Disney Plus. And we're like 23 minutes. Okay, here we go.
yeah. How are they going to do it?
And
they
they
always
always had
make
like
it
an
work.
hour-long finale.
That is
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Andor did. Yeah, Andor did. Yeah.
But
yeah, we
I
have-
mean, the Clone Wars finale was a regular amount of time for the episode, I think.
I do see a lot of the Clone Wars finale in these last 4 episodes, or at least these last 3, that I kind of get the sense that it is meant to be binged as one long movie. They lead into each other very well. I think it'll be very satisfying to watch it all as a 4-parter, but also I hope that the last part isn't just 20 minutes of like, let's get in and get out. I'm like, no, let's linger on some answers and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it feels like this past episode felt like the third part of a 4-part movie where we still have a whole quarter left to see what happens with all of these characters.
Yeah.
Because that's the big thing. Like even if they don't like talk about like the CX clone and all that stuff, there's a lot just that has to happen. Like
Yeah.
they got to go in, they got to get Omega out. Omega's got the kids. Like you said, they don't have a ship. How are they getting out of there? I don't know. Zillo Beast. The Zillo Beast
and
of it
all
all.
the other clones. We don't even know how many clones are there. We
Yeah.
haven't seen any of the other
Yeah.
clones in a long time.
And where are they going to take them? I guess they'll take them all to Pabu, but it's like, what happens next?
And yeah, Papu's no longer fully safe. The Empire's
Right.
found out about it.
I really, I'm already like looking ahead in my mind, and I'm like, give us some tie-in content, give us some books, some comics, just something to gnaw on. so that it's not totally over.
Some shorts, some little animated shorts that can play. Yeah, I would love that. Anything. Yeah.
Tales of the Bad Batch.
Yeah.
Post Tantus.
That'd be interesting. Just like a Tales of the Clones.
I was just thinking the same thing. That would be really cool. There's a lot they could do.
Yeah, just show where everyone ends up.
Is there anything anyone else wanted to bring up specifically, or should we jump into some questions?
I'm pretty good. Gabe, what do you have?
No, I'm good.
Cool.
I'm sure I'll think of more characters that need to kiss, but go ahead.
Hauser and anyone.
Ooh.
Hauser kisses Hemlock, saves the galaxy. Hemlock turns it all around. He's like, I didn't know clones could be so hot.
I've never known a love like this before.
Takes off his glove.
Stop me anymore. I'm about to write fan fiction. First up from Bill Rudd, thank you so much for the super chat. Somehow I survived 2020 on a steady diet of Star Wars Explained streams and Blast Point's super chill podcast. The force is strong with you four fans. Thanks, 3PO. Thanks, Bill.
Thank you, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
That wasn't a question. That was just nice.
those are the best kind of questions.
They're feeling the love, the kisses and the love.
Yeah. Cindy K, thank you so much for the super chat. So much skill in animating all the nature in this show, although our squad doesn't really have the time to admire the jungle. LOL. Awed by animation and music quality every week. Agreed. The animation and music in this particular season of Bad Batch has been top notch. Just no notes. It's been so good. We're getting spoiled by it.
Us being spoiled is a good way to put it. I try so hard to not take it for granted, but like we don't mention the animation quality every week. I'd really try to mention the Kiner's music every week because there's always something in it.
Yeah.
The intro to this week, I was immediately like bopping my head along to it. So every single episode, they're just crushing it.
Side note, did you guys see that Sean Kiner went to the LA Ren Fair dressed as Hunter?
No.
He had like the handkerchief and it was so cool. I think it's on their Twitter. I was just like, if I had seen him there, I would have freaked out.
Oh my God, that's so good. I was just going to say too, a shout out to the sound work, David Collins, everyone at Skywalker Sound. The sound in these episodes, especially I think of the Juggernaut, the Turbo Tank episode. Yeah. That was so cool. There was so much going on. The sound work is just out of control good. So cool.
Yeah.
Makes you want to watch every episode with headphones on.
That's true. Yeah, when we rewatch them to do our commentaries, we use headphones, and there's always little things that I notice then that I'm like, man, this is crazy.
That's so cool.
I was able to find a picture.
Yeah.
Yes.
So good. The hair and everything. Ugh, it's perfect.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, it's great.
They asked him if he wanted a giant turkey leg, and he said, negative.
How could you turn that down? Ice has the next few. Thanks so much, Ice. The last few episodes have had me extremely tense in all the best ways, and this was no different. It honestly went by so fast, I genuinely felt it couldn't have been better over. It couldn't have been over when the credits rolled. Something I've been saying forever is, can we please get Echo a proper hand? The Scomp Link is hella useful. Don't get rid of it. But it's kind of sad seeing that reminder of what was done to him. They changed all his other cybernetics. His original legs were shaped like hooves, but now he has more human legs. They added the headpiece. The Scomp is the only thing that wasn't, which is odd to me. It was funny seeing him in the TK armor with the Scomp Link sticking out at the end of his sleeve, and I didn't even realize he had removed his headpiece. I think he maybe likes having the Scomp Link, and honestly, I was loving him sneaking around the base and like popping the hand off, like quick download something, hand back on. Like,
well, when he went into like Emery's lab specifically, we see him like trying to use the like trying to hack just the screen with the touch screen, and he's like, ah, screw this, and he just like plugs it in. That's so funny.
It's immediately just like access denied. He's like, ah.
He's like, I tried to do it the old school way, but it's too good. It's too easy.
You have to admire the restraint on the Bad Batch team too, of waiting 3 seasons for him to put something on, to get a fake hand. Like they made us wait. So it was so satisfying when he finally plugged that droid hand on.
Mm-hmm. And that fantastic pun of like, thanks for the hand.
Yeah.
I also said, I genuinely said finally when he put the droid hand on, and the thanks for the hand line, fantastic. Got a good laugh. Reminds me of, is there an Echo in here? Echo really nails his one-liners.
Yeah. Oh my God, I forgot about that line.
Again, like this is going to be a fun show to rewatch, but that, oh man, I like forgot Trace and Rafa even popped up. We haven't seen them since all of this.
Echo really is the fun uncle.
Yeah.
Just, I want to see him continue to be that.
I didn't even notice too that he took his headpiece off and he has ears. Like he's talking to Emery with his ears, because most of the time we see him with the headpiece on. It's like, oh, look at Echo's ears.
I was wondering how he got the helmet on over his headpiece at first.
Yeah.
And he just like, I was like, oh, you just took it off. I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, so cool. Yeah.
Thank you, Darth Nicholas, for the next couple of super chats. Just like last week's episode, it's great seeing Omega's potential as a strategist become fully realized. Her ancestor and fellow strategist tactician Cassis Fett from the KOTOR comics would be proud.
Wow.
That's a deep cut.
Yeah.
What are the chances of Emery surviving? We still don't know enough about her backstory, and I'm hoping that gets covered in a novel, comic series, or even another TV show down the line. I hope she survives. Like, I want to see her help release all of these kids and the clones and like figure out what life is like outside of the lab. Like it seems like this has been her whole life. So it'd be nice if she has a big change of heart and helps them all escape. And then Omega is like, come with me, sister.
Yeah. I'm like 50-50 on her making out. I definitely think there's more to learn about her. And I think it's kind of strange that Omega dropped the whole, like, there's a girl named Imri and she's like us. She's a clone. And no one really batted an eye about it. And I'm like, isn't that worth discussing?
Yeah. And she's also like a smarty pants. So in my mind, when I was sure Tech was definitely gone, I was like, Imri could be the new Tech of the group. That could be fun.
She's got the goggles too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good thing to revisit that we haven't talked about in a while. No one's really asked about it, but are we going to go back to CX2 theories? Is CX2 Tech?
It's too late. It's too late.
I agree. I've been saying those from the start.
Yeah, if you would have asked me a couple months ago, I would have said 100% yes. And now I really don't think so.
Yeah.
That's too big of a bomb to drop in the very last episode of the series, right?
Yeah.
When he was spying on Fee, I was like, oh, this is it. Like it's gonna awaken something in him, It's like like, oh, this Fee, I love her, but it didn't happen. And then I was just like, I don't know. But Gabe, you had an interesting theory, right?
Oh, for a little bit there, I was thinking that there's like a clone of Crosshair, like they did actually figure something out with Crosshair, right? And he's one of them. But again, it's too late in the season. That would be too crazy.
We thought of that too, because that one CX clone that they had held hostage, as soon as he saw Crosshair, he was like, oh, it's you.
Yeah.
That made me question him.
I figured he just recognized him.
But one of the episodes when the X2 was talking, his voice was very close to Crosshair's voice, more so than the generic kind of clone voice too. But
gosh, D. Bradley Baker, do better.
Yeah. You're so lazy.
We need 1.2 million slightly distinct voices, please.
That's what he does.
Yeah. And kind of building off that, another one from Darth Nicholas. Thank you. Do you think Scorch will survive? I was hoping he would play a bigger role this season. And as an Imperial clone fan, I don't necessarily want to see him get redeemed, but I hope he survives, since a post-Bad Batch story of his still has potential and could be explored further in either a novel, comic, or future series. Molly's already shaking her head.
Boo. I'm sorry. I've been harping on Scorch this whole time, knowing that Darth Nicholas specifically is a big fan. But he came in there and stunned those kids. After that, I feel like he might not make it out of this.
Scorch is toast.
He's scorched.
I think that squad, though, that Republic Commando kind of squad, I think that's really interesting, though, because they have the clone voice still. So with their clones that are kind of like, no, we're still rah, rah, rah. We'll still do what the Empire wants, right? And I think there could, like you said, like the Tales of the Clones, like that could be really interesting. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I love the Republic Commando game. I don't know.
I think there is some hope for the Commandos. That way back in episode 1, we saw them messing with Crosshair's chip and dialing it up. So I wonder if they did that to the Commandos. It does seem strange that it's just like every clone commando except for Gregor is all in with the Empire and not questioning their orders or anything. So I wouldn't mind if there were some way that they could just like press a button and deactivate every inhibitor chip. And then the clone commandos are like, oh my God, what's happening?
Yeah.
Right.
I could see a
really
way
cool.
for it.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be really cool.
But I do think Scorch will probably not make it out.
No, probably not.
He's been too much of like the face of the clone commandos that I think he'll have to go down.
There is potential for a lot of casualties in this next episode. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Including all of us.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we won't make it either. No one's gonna survive.
We'll be in the hospital. Just show me Acolyte and I'll be all right.
quick.
Yeah, turn the TV on.
I just had a super random thought. Are we gonna see Senator Chuchi again?
Ooh.
I forgot that was like a whole little side thing. I hope so. I really like her.
I could just see her being wherever they all rendezvous. If they pick up all the clones and get out of there, and Rex is like, I've got a place, and Chuchi is there to help get them set up.
Yeah, because she was teaming up with the Captain Crunch looking guy whose name I can't remember.
Senator Singh.
Yeah.
Who has one outfit and no disguises.
Look, he fled his home. That's all he had.
Yeah. But it was neat that they're like, hey, we used to fight each other, but we have the same enemy. It would be cool bookend and have them help in the end. Yeah, I forgot about it.
They could be part of the cavalry. They might have a ship.
Yeah.
Ooh,
They could have a lot of ships.
Chuchi has all kinds of connections. Yeah. I want that to happen now. The thing that made me think of her is Bill Rudd's super chat. Do you think the M Count Kids species are a tribute to the prequels? Their first appearances: Iktachi, Phantom Menace, Miri Allen, Attack of the Clones, Pantoran, Revenge of the Sith.
Wow.
And I was like, Pantoran, yeah.
I say yes. I never would have thought of that, but sure. I like that.
That seems plausible to me.
Yeah. Good catch.
I like it.
That's fun.
A little Easter egg for the Phantom Menace anniversary.
Oh my God. Get hyped if you're not hyped already. Yeah.
I've been buying so much episode 1 stuff off of eBay, just like random party supply stuff, because my birthday is next week. And so I'm throwing myself a 90s birthday party that's gonna like basically be episode 1 themed. And the stuff I'm finding on eBay is very exciting.
I like that it's a surprise for me and not you.
Yeah.
You're gonna party like it's 1999.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That'll be better than Zilla Beast cake. Just a little bit.
Yeah. If you want to surprise me with a Zilla Beast cake too, that is cool.
I'll try. Darth Nicholas, thanks for another super chat. Echo stealing the TK Trooper's armor was a nice callback to 5 stealing the Red Clone's armors. Like poetry, it rhymes for better, but probably worse. I realized that Echo might be the very first person in the Star Wars galactic timeline to steal Stormtrooper armor and use it as a disguise. Technically, it's TK armor, but like I can't think of anyone else wearing
clone?
TK armor.
You mean?
No, anyone.
Oh,
so like you know,
Yeah.
it happens all the time later on. People
Yeah.
disguise themselves as stormtroopers, but Echo might be the very first one.
Oh,
Chronologically.
I see. Chronologically.
He's the trendsetter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that part of the show, because Jason and I talked about this, like you would think at this point it would be like, oh, that gag again, but it was the awesomest part of the
Dang it.
episode. It's like, yes, finally, this is awesome.
Jack the
Oh.
Seven beat me. All right. Saul Guerrero was the first one to do it.
Oh yeah,
But he got tech killed, so he doesn't
Yeah.
count.
right. We
Yeah.
were too traumatized by tech to remember.
Yeah, I forgot
He's-
all about that.
He's dead to us.
Yeah.
But could Saw show up next week? Is Saw part of the cavalry?
He's going to show up and ruin everything. If Saul shows up, I will be furious.
If he does, I could see everyone in the show being like, "Get out of here! We
No,
don't want you
leave.
here. We don't want your help."
I don't want to see your face.
That would be sad. But
I wonder if
I
he
don't
feels
know.
like he owes them one, though.
Hmm.
Maybe.
I mean,
Probably
he
not.
definitely does.
He does, yeah.
I
We just
think
start
it should just be clones. I hope it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
clones and close allies.
Yeah. And the chooch.
She can be there.
And Wookiees.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Gunji.
As long-
Gunji comes.
Yeah.
As long as they have the monkey cat things they're riding on, then let's do it.
That'd be wild.
Just a big team up of all the guest
Yeah.
appearances throughout the seasons.
Yeah.
Everybody.
That'd be
Everybody.
crazy.
Yeah.
Ice, thanks for the next super chat. I feel like Emery has been dragging her heels on actually acting her compassion for kids. I definitely saw the trajectory, but her saying she'll help Echo kind of had me going, well, it's about time. Yeah, she has been kind of twiddling her thumbs a little bit about actually doing something, but we talked about in the last episode whether or not she knew that Omega took that tool. We were like, maybe she kind of knew and like turned a blind eye to it. I don't know.
I think she just didn't know what to do. But now that the batch is here, she's like, oh, well, here's an easy way to help.
Well, yeah, she saw Echo's little hand
Yeah.
thingy gadget, and she's
No.
like, yeah, you can help me.
Ice goes on to say her turn against Hemlock hasn't been rushed at all. It's been established well, but it also did take its sweet time. I hope that makes sense. And I also like that she immediately knew who Echo was. I guess Omega described everyone to her. She knew who Omega was, even though they had never met. Do you think the same was true of the core batch? Like she would recognize them all? I assume
Yeah, I
so.
would think so. They're
Yeah.
pretty recognizable people.
Especially if
Yeah.
Wrecker's walking around with you.
Yeah.
Wrecker, yeah. That makes me that in my mind, that makes me picture Emery trying to just get work done around Mount Tantus, and then Omega following her around and being like, and then Echo did this, and it was really funny. And then when Wrecker said this, I laughed really hard, and it's just like, I get it.
Emery has
canon.
Emery's had a really cool arc this season, though, because I think of how we just kind of met her out of the blue at the end of last season, and in those first 3 episodes with her giving the doll back to Omega and stuff, and kind of being like, oh, she does care, this doctor that we just thought was part of this evil Mount Tantus, and her watching her like the viewer was saying, her kind of change of heart throughout the course of this season has been really good.
Mhm.
I definitely think I have headcanon for her story that is working for me now, but I would not mind at all if they went into it a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked getting to see her pull rank with the other doctors up in their little viewing room. I think she did that on purpose to be like, I'm in charge here. And if I get a chance, I'm going to set all these kids free.
Right. Right.
I could definitely see her having ideas, but just not knowing what to do at all. But last episode, she was pulling rank on Scalder and stuff. Scalder was saying it's not smart to keep Omega in there with all the other specimens.
And she was right.
Yeah. And Emery's like, I'm chief science officer. Be gone.
Get out of here.
Yeah. I almost feel like she could be like the Kino Loy of next week's episode.
Oh, yeah.
Kinda, you know, the person that knows how things work and how to get through things that may be stopping them on their way out and stuff. Yeah.
She kind of is like she started out as an obstacle, but now she's an ally. Where I like in Andor, I was certain that, okay, Kino Loy is the one person in their group that they're going to have to like beat up to get to freedom. Right. But instead he was the one to lead them out. I'm like, ugh, so good.
So good.
Yeah. As soon as she got the promotion, I was like, oh baby, here we go. Like she's got access to more areas now so that when the big finale happens, she can get around, help people get around easier.
So good. It's so exciting. Can't wait.
I'm really excited for it, but I'm also just like not ready for it to be over. I'm already ready to binge the whole show again, just to experience Omega's and the rest of the Bad Batch, like their full arcs.
It is nice though that we'll be getting the finale next week and then some more Star Wars animation, just like 3 days later with Tales of the Empire. So that'll be nice.
Gosh, I keep forgetting about that.
It's gonna be a busy week. we gotta cram Phantom Menace in there somewhere. They're like, here's Star Wars fans. Here's too much to do on May 4th.
We gotta try and go to as many local bars doing Star Wars trivia as we can, and just take all their money.
You guys can wear disguises and go to different.
We've discussed like going and just playing as separate teams and getting first, second, and third. That seems kind of like a dick move.
No.
That's how Rampart would do it. So,
yeah.
Dave McHugh, thanks for the next super chat. Live action Omega will undoubtedly be played by Oscar nominee Keisha Castle Hughes, who voices Emery. Perfect age to play Omega in the Mando timeline. I'd be down for that.
Yeah, I could see it. It could be cool.
Yeah,
live action Omega would be wild, but I think when Rebels started, I think I would have said the same thing about live action Hera and Sabine and
Ezra.
Jason Syndulla.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Gary24 fan, thank you for the next super chat. Crosshairs started fiddling with his hand like Hemlock does. Do you think there's a connection there? Hemlock experimenting on himself? He's weird. He is weird.
Jason and I joke about the glove all the time, but it is like it's pretty bold to like set up a character with a glove, and we've gotten no indication of why he wears the glove, whether it's experiments, whether it's just fashion. Like, why does he have the glove?
Yeah, I feel like it represents just his pure evilness that he's allowed to inhibit his body, and like his whatever's wrong with his hand, it'll never heal because he's such a bad dude. But Crosshair's hand over time, I think, will heal because he's not a bad dude.
It's one of those things that symbolically, I think we know enough. I don't know that they should explain it because it's one of those, maybe whatever we think is going to be weirder and scarier, but I just assume experiment gone wrong. He hurt himself while he was trying to what would he make himself immune to poison?
Yeah.
Someone brought that up not that long ago, that he has that poison that he can just like pump into rooms in Mount Tantus. So that might pop back.
Mm-hmm.
That's how he stopped Crosshair in season 2.
Oh yeah.
Maybe he was crawling in the vents with the blood tubes and his fingers got caught.
Oh yeah, pinched fingers.
Ow, hurt fingies.
Gabe, I liked your theory that it's like if you have to go for a job interview, wear one glove, and they'll always remember you as the person with one glove.
Right.
So when Palpatine comes to Tantus, Palpatine's going to be like, "Who the what?" And somebody like, "Oh, the guy with the one glove." Yes, that guy. You know,
He had a weird energy.
Yeah.
Hire him.
Yeah.
He went to some seminar and they were like, do something in job interviews to make you stand out. And he's like,
Him.
I got it.
Him looks
One
like
glove.
it's called peacocking. Very creepy.
And then when Luke shows up in Return of the Jedi, that's why Palpatine likes Luke, because he's like, one glove.
Yeah.
Well, that
Those are
one glove
those are my
bit.
kind of people.
I like your style.
She's like, what's under there? I don't even know.
What happened to you? We'll never know.
Don't show me.
Nicholas, thank you for another couple here. I think Echo, as a physical embodiment of experimentation, removing his helmet in front of Emery, is what finally convinced her to help the children and eventually the clone prisoners at large. Also, that scene contained some of my favorite voice acting all season. Keisha Castle-Hughes has especially done a fantastic job voicing Emery. If she survives, do you think Emery could become a potential replacement for Tech, as some fans have speculated? We kind of touched on that, but I wouldn't like to view it as a replacement for Tech. Just a new member,
Oh,
the same way Batcher's
Yeah.
a new member of the Bad Batch. She's not Tech's replacement. Emery would just be a new member.
A new member, like not a replacement, not a substitute, just like Tech was their tech savvy person. They're kind of like super smart person that knew computers really well, and she fits all those categories. So she could
She's more of a scientist than like a tech person, though.
That's true, but she
So
could
it's-
still take over some of his responsibilities if they still need to work like in that dynamic.
I could see Wrecker being like, "Oh, you know medicine? Like that just means you're smart in general, right?" And she was like, "Yeah, I guess."
Yeah.
I do think that's a good point about Echo, though, because I feel like having seen Echo in shows for so long, you kind of are used to the fact that he's like been horribly experimented on, and he's practically, he's a cyborg, and as
Yeah.
someone who's experimenting on clones and realizing they're experimenting on kids, seeing kind of the worst that could happen to what one of her brothers effectively, probably did have an emotional impact on Emery.
Mm.
I'm really glad that Echo has had a very active role in these past few episodes where, like you mentioned like an hour ago, that Echo has been in and out of this show, and he needs to be here for this part.
Hmm.
Yeah. You didn't realize how much I missed him.
Let's see. We just talked about this, Alex, but Lord Hosk asks, did you see Ming-Na Wen on Katie Sackhoff's blah, blah, blah? So Katie Sackhoff started doing her podcast again and had Ming-Na Wen on it recently. I haven't watched it yet, but I've seen a couple clips and it looks pretty funny. So we should watch that at some point.
Yeah. I've only seen 2 clips, and one was Katie asking if Ming-Na Wen knew that it was Luke in The Mandalorian, and she was like, yeah, and Katie Sackhoff was like, but Dave Filoni told me it was Plo Koon, and Ming-Na was like, he had the glove and R2-D2, but he was green. Like, come on, Katie.
Yeah, she was like, you should have known that.
That's good.
Cassia Pip, thank you for this super chat. Obviously, the cavalry will be Dryden Voss and Crimson Dawn, finally using that model from season 7. Yep,
Yeah.
You know what? You're right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Alex harped on and on and on about how Dryden Voss was going to come back because they had a model
Yeah.
of him.
Look, it's expensive to make models, and he was in like 10 seconds of season 7, and that's it. Like they spent all that money.
Standing there doing this. Yeah.
Yeah. They're
All
going to do like tales of the models that weren't used enough, and Dryden Voss will team up with Krennic, and they'll go on some adventure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Krennic. Yeah. All these models.
Yeah. Every episode they'll have a different beard or mustache on.
I forgot all about Krennic.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
how could you?
That was wild.
Yeah.
He's there for one line.
What?
I wonder if maybe not Krennic, but I wonder if Tarkin will be with Palpatine if Palpatine shows up at all in the finale to be like, I told you that Hemlock guy was stupid and didn't
I
know
could
what he
see
was
that.
doing.
I'd like that.
That would make sense. Yeah.
It's a very Tarkin thing to do.
Yeah. Be like, good. Yeah. What a waste of time and money. Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't my idea, so it's crap.
Yeah. Anyway,
Right,
check out this
exactly.
Death Star that I'm kind of in charge of for now.
I'm
Right.
gonna take credit for it later. Just
Right.
wait.
It would be pretty cool for Hemlock to kind of get ramparted, where Hemlock
Hmm.
thinks he's doing the right thing, and then Tarkin kind of pulls the Palpatine on him, and
Yeah.
so that would be pretty cool.
And Booze has a super chat here. Could Omega calm the Zillo Beast like Ventress calmed that sea creature? I like that.
I like that too. She definitely seems like she picks up skills very easily by observing people.
Uh-huh. Didn't she do something similar to, what was it? It was like a cave beast that didn't like light or tried to eat light.
We talking like way back in season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think so.
It was like season 1, episode 2 or 3 or something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
But she's also, I mean, she's always been able to kind of connect well with creatures. So maybe.
I could see that. I think that would be really cool.
I would buy that.
Yeah.
But I also think that the Zilla Beast is just going to be chill.
Just super chill.
Not to the Imperials, but to the kids.
He's like, hey, y'all, what are we doing?
Yeah. Like I said, like Godzilla style, like a friendly evil monster.
Yeah.
Ice sent in another one. Thank you, Ice. Omega finding the Zilla Beast got me so psyched. Now I'm just jonesing for her to set it loose and rampage across Tantus. I wonder why it's being kept in a water tank or whatever that substance is.
I was wondering that too.
So are we. I don't know. The last time we saw it in season 2, they put it in a tank. So
Could it be that they're shooting because they're like shooting that like electricity dish at it? Is it getting like electrocuted in the water to make it even bigger? Is
Oh.
that a crazy theory?
Oh.
Maybe.
It got pretty big already, but yeah, it could have been.
Yeah.
They could be
Oh, that'd be-
experimenting on it to try to get it as big as they can.
Yeah, like with the water being like a conduit, you know?
That would
I don't
be
know.
wild if Omega just like brought a bunch of energy and was just like throwing batteries at it, like eat, feed, get big.
I mean, if they've been experimenting on it, it could already be a lot bigger. It was kind of hard to tell where she was looking at it.
It looked pretty big.
Yeah.
It's big enough. It's big enough to eat Hemlock. That's all I care about.
To destroy some Palpatine tank clone things with its tail or something.
That
Yeah.
would be actually pretty rad.
That would, because it was Palpatine
Uh-huh.
that was just like, oh, we should save that and clone it. And then if it
Yep.
was just like "Bah," to its clone thing, you know?
Zilla Beast, like Palpatine shows up and the Zilla Beast is eating all of his clones, like giving him the side eye. Like,
Yeah.
I remember you.
He's like, I've got a new favorite snack. And it's you.
Palpatine clones. Oh man.
Esteban Benitez, thank you for the next one. I don't think the clone rebellion will happen now.
I think we're gonna get a version of it.
Yeah, I mean, they're not really in a place of power to have a big rebellion, but if they can escape Mount Tantus and prove to the Empire that like you can't just imprison us and experiment on us like we're not human beings. We're gonna go. Like that counts.
I like that. Just announcing, hey, we're gonna leave.
I'm over this, and I'm
We're
leaving.
done here. Yeah, I think an assault on Tantus, rescuing all the clones, that's enough for me. Enough of a clone rebellion for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think, yeah, if Rex and people show up and even get the clones, whoever's on Tantus, or the kids to safety, yeah, I'm pretty cool with that.
We're going to start wrapping up here, but Lord Hosk sent in their usual super chat. Are we keeping you from escaping to something?
We're gonna escape to go watch all of our other TV shows that we watch on Wednesdays.
Dinner to cook, X-Men 97, and Shogun to finish. Those are our night plans.
I don't want Shogun to end either. Ugh. All my shows are ending.
That's the dilemma of good shows, right? The better the show, the harder it is when it ends.
Yeah.
Shogun's been great. But before we wrap up, Gabe and Jason, please let everyone know where they can find you, listen to Blast Points, follow you online, etc. So, hey, Kelly Knox. Shogun's so good.
It really is. It really is.
She's like watching and she's like, I've got it. I'm in. Shogun. Yeah. Gabe, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Well, we are on, we have a website, blastpointspodcast.com. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We have new episodes generally every Tuesday. Yeah.
Next week, we got our 400th episode coming
out.
Oh, nice.
On May the 4th.
On May the 4th. It's like we planned it all along.
So
we waited patiently all these years.
Yeah. That's here, and here's a Star Wars Explained exclusive. We're going to be doing a live commentary of a 1999 episode 1 Star Wars QVC special for our 400th episode. So we're really.
Where did you find that?
I never would have guessed that to be the end of the sentence.
There's a lot of them on YouTube, and it's kind of because when Gabe and I were in college, we were roommates in college, and we would watch the QVC specials, the Star Wars QVC specials, and so it's kind of it's very old school for us. And so yeah, that's what we're doing.
It was Star Wars Celebration before there was Star Wars Celebration. It was Star Wars Night on QVC.
Oh man, that's got to be hilarious.
That's a great idea
to watch back now and hear the QVC people try to explain Star Wars stuff.
It's the best, and Steve Sansweet's there, and he keeps things under control. Yeah. But it's a lot of fun. So yeah,
cool.
Well, I will definitely check that out, and links to your podcast and Twitter are in the description. So everyone, go give Blast Points a follow if you're not already, which you should be. But we're going to wrap up for the night. So thank you all for hanging out and watching. Thank you, Jason and Gabe, for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And everyone else, have a great night. And may the Force be with you.